सर्वेभ्यः नमस्काराः। अस्माकं सः सः पाठी, सः विद्यार्थी, सः साधकः त्रिविक्रमवर्यः अद्य ध्यानश्लोकेन आवाहनश्लोकेन एतां कक्ष्याम् आरप्स्यते।
वणत्कान्तिदामा कलिलभकुण्ठ तननता परीक्षीणा मध्ये परिणत शरच्चन्द्रवदना धनुर्बाणान् पाशं श्रोणिमपि दधाना करतलैः पुरस्तादास्ताम्न पुरमतिपुराहो पुरुषिका
वणत्काञ्ची दामा करिकलभकुम्भस्तननता परीक्षीणा मध्ये परिणतशरच्चन्द्रवदना धनुर्बाणान् पाशं सृणिमपि दधाना करतलैः पुरस्तादास्तां नः पुरमथितुराहो पुरुषिका। अस्तु, एतं श्लोकं च व्याहृत्य अग्रे सराम। पञ्चमश्लोकः लुप्त आसीत् वर्णने। हरिस्त्वामाराध्य प्रणतजनसौभाग्यजननीं पुरा नारी भूत्वा पुररिपुम् अपि क्षोभम् अनयत् स्मरोऽपि त्वान्नत्वा रतिनयनलेह्येन वपुषा मुनीनामप्यन्तः प्रभवति हि मोहाय महताम्। त्वाम् हरिः त्वाम् आराध्य, हे देवी, त्वां हरिः अपि आराध्य। हरि इज विष्णु, हरिः विष्णुः त्वाम् आराध्य प्रणतजनसौभाग्यजननीं, त्वां प्रणतजनसौभाग्यजननीम् आराध्य. So you who are the bestower of saubhagya upon those who bow before you. प्रणतजनानां कृते जनेभ्यः सौभाग्यं जनयति. You who create saubhagya for people who have sincerely bowed before you. So what saubhagya means are two things. In Samskrta, saubhagya can mean, of course, the most common popular meaning is fortune, auspiciousness. And the second meaning, the more hidden and more apt meaning in this context is Lakshmi itself. Lakshmi synonym is Saubhagya. So, Harihi Tvam Aradhya Pura Samudra Mathana Samaye Lakshmyaha Vivahaha Parvatya Eva Karitaha Asit. Lakshmyaha Vivahaha Vishnuna Saha Parvatya Eva Karitaha Asit. Parvati Vishnoho Sahodari iti Matva तयोः मध्ये विवाहं कल्याणं च एषा देवी एव पुरस्कृत्य कारितवती. तथापि एतम् अर्थं स्वीकर्तुं शक्यते. प्रणतजनानाम्, अत्र विष्णुः प्रार्थितवान् आसीत्, seeing her brother being single for so long, he was quite requesting for the correct wife. What is that mantra in Argala we have been reading? रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि द्विषो जहि पत्नी मनोरमां देहि मनोवृत्तानुसारिणीं तारिणीं दुर्गसंसार सागरस्य कुलोद्भवाम्. In fact, the Argala Stotram is said to be Vishnur Rishihi, whereas the Kavacham is said to be Brahma Rishihi. It was told by Brahma. The Argala Stotram is said to have been composed primarily by Vishnu, and the Kilaka Stotram is composed by Rudra. So that is how the three angas, Purvangas, come to the Devi Saptashadi. So then he asked Patni Manoramam. In fact, again, Manorama is a synonym for Lakshmi. Patni Manoraman Dehi Manovrittanusarini Tarinīm Durga Samsara Sagarasya Kulodbhavam. Sagarasya Kulodbhavam. See, she is born from the Sagara also, right? She comes from the Samudra Manthana, the Sagara of Samudra Manthana. So that was the hidden meaning there. And so, of course, he actually meant, let her help me cross over this ocean. But Durga put a twist on it and said, okay, I'm going to give you a wife whose name itself is also Manorama and who is also charming to look at, who will be born from the ocean. And of course, help you cross over it because you are also sleeping on an ocean. So she has to help you keep afloat. Maybe she's going to row that Adishesha along with you. So that was the idea. She helped him in that way, her brother in that way, getting him married. And second, Pura Nari Bhutva Pura Ripum Apikshobham Anayat. Yada भस्मासुरस्य अपि च तस्य च महिषी असुर्याः संहारः कारणीय आसीत् तदानीम् अय्यप्प धर्मशास्तुः जननम् आवश्यकम् आसीत् तदानीं विष्णुः मोहिनी अवतारं दधार कथं दधार सः नारी भूत्वा he wanted to become a woman but he is a man तर्हि किं करणीयं पुनः सः पार्वतीम् एव प्रार्थितवान् प्रणतवान् he bowed before Parvati before Lalita and with the grace of Lalita he got a Nari form which is Mohini which was so attractive that Puraripum api Kshobham Anayat. It took even Purari, that is not Murari, it is Purari here is Shiva. Even he was taken for a ride by the charming beauty and seductive power of Mohini. And of course, he fell in love with Mohini and they had a kid, which was Dharmashasta. And also Mohini was powerful enough, enchanting enough to do moha of both the Devas, Asuras, and also of Bhasmasura at another instance. So for all these three instances, he had to come repeatedly to Devi Lalita asking for a female form. So that is also the meaning of Saubhagya, the feminine qualities which are there in humans, especially in women, is also referred to as Saubhagya. Aishwaryam yat prasadena Saubhagya Arogya Sampadaha Shatruha, and so on it comes. In the Kilaka, in the Striyam, what that Kirti, Shri, beauty, Saubhagya, and auspiciousness is seen, that beauty is actually a vibhuti of Devi. That is also mentioned in the Kilaka. And it is also, I mean, needs to be accepted. It is nothing sexist against men. That it's a fact that the companies in their to advertise, etc., they would rather use a female voice, a female figure to represent beauty, to represent auspiciousness, to represent attraction more than a man. So, I mean, it's time we men accept that little fact. So, smoropi tvam natva ratinayana lehyena vapusha muninamapyantah prabhavatihi mohaya mahatam. Smaraha, who is smara?
न जानामि
स्मरः कामदेव एव स्मरः इति तस्य नामार्थः अस्ति नामान्तरम् अस्ति स्मरः is one who majorly dwells on memory. So love, lust, infatuation, all of these are products of memory. So that is a hidden meaning why his another name is Smara. Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsa Sangasteshu Upajayate. Only after continuous repeated thinking over, brooding over a particular thing using the memory will there come kama, be it as love or lust or whatever, infatuation, etc. So his name is Smara. Smaraha api tvam natva. He also came and bowed before you to get a body. We know this story very well. We have also seen it in the first class that when he was burnt by Shiva, Rati and Smara, both of them prayed together to bestow him with a body. And with just that little prayer, he got such a beautiful body that Rati Nayana Lehyam Vapuhu. That Vapu, that Sharira, which was Lehya, which was so attractive, so charming that it was constantly licked by the Nayana of Rati. So what it means is she would always eye him. She, despite being the goddess of sex and procreation, Rati, she would still be lost in thought of always eyeing and ogling at her husband Kamadeva after having got such an attractive, sexy, handsome body. So such was the grace that you bestowed upon Smara too. That so the idea here is that you don't only give female bodies to your bhaktas. It is that you are also powerful enough to give very charming, attractive male bodies too. Muninam api antaha prabhavati mohaya mahatam. And in fact, you overdid that boon by giving him such a attractive body that even the munis who are said to be tapasvis in control, complete control of their indriyas, antaha mohaya prabhavati. Mahatam muninam api, even of the greatest of great munis, after having the small darshana by accident of Smara, of Cupid, of Kamadeva, they got really confused and they got charmed themselves to that moha antaha within themselves. The moha, the waves of lust and kama still was awoken in them. Mahata muninam api antaha mohaya prabhavatihi. So such was the beauty of both Mohini as well as of Manmatha. In the first case, also it is the same. Puraripu, that is Shiva, who is said to be the greatest of yogis, the pioneer of all yoga and of self-control. He was unable to withstand the beauty of the Mohini. Ah, Satyam, Satyam. Very right. Very interesting observation. Though he was able to burn down Kama in his pre Devi getting blessing him form, his original form, he was able to overcome such Kama. But the Kama which was then entrusted upon by the grace of Devi, he was not able to withstand. Yes.
That's what I heard this pravachana from a pravachana which said that actually Mohini or he gets permission
Mm.
to have children with Shiva. And thus Shiva is also fallen into Moha,
Mm.
runs behind Mohini.
Correct. Yes. I mean, it's there in the name too. Yeah, she is Mohayati iti. Satyam. Jagat Pituhu, Jagat Yoginah, Adiguruh eva Moham Karayitum Shakta asti Tasyaha Kripa. Smaropitvam Natva Ratinayana Lehya. And in fact, in one other verse in the later on in the Soundarya Lahari, a very interesting incident of how Kama gets to take revenge on Shiva is actually mentioned. We will discuss it when we do reach there. Very interesting. अस्तु हरिस्त्वामाराध्य प्रणतजनसौभाग्यजननी पुरानारी भूत्वा पुररिपुमपि क्षोभमनयत् स्मरोऽपि त्वान्नत्वा रतिनयनलेह्येन वपुषा मुनीनामप्यन्तः प्रभवति हि मोहाय महताम्. And this line, this sloka came in line with how her very small grace of looking in the kataksha towards Manmatha itself was enough for such an impoverished soul, such as Ananga, who doesn't have a proper body, doesn't have a proper chariot. He can't even afford a proper chariot. He has to rely on Malaya Marut itself as his chariot. He has to make one of his seasons itself his friend, just to see how desperate he is. So, and he has to string up a bow and arrow with just flowers. Such an impoverished Daridra Devata can still enchant the entire world because of your grace. So such is the power of your grace is the meaning of the two shlokas there. Okay, let's continue back from 13. Trayodashat shloka. Naram varshiyam samnayana virasam narmasujadam tavapanga loke patitamanu shatashah galadveni bandhah kuchakalasha visrastasichayah हठात् त्रुट्यत् काञ्च्यो विगलितदुकूला युवतयः पुनरपि एषः श्लोकोऽपि भगवत्याः कृपा कियती अस्ति इति वर्णयति तस्याः कटाक्षकृपा एव कञ्चन मनुष्यमपि अतिसुन्दरं मनुष्यं सुन्दरीकरोति कियत् सुन्दरम् इति अत्र पश्यामः नरं वर्षीयांसं नयन विरसं नर्मसु जडम् अपि what is nara is human naram manusyam kaschana manusyam kanchana manusyam varshiyamsam varshiyas means one who is really aged very old maybe in his 80s and 90s such a wrinkled little man a crippled man nayana virasam and he is an abomination to the eye virasam is such abhorrent form he has his age has brought him that everybody will look away from such a man so nayana virasam narmasu jadam jada is he is hard his bones have become brittle and hard and narma means play he cannot play he cannot sport in what sports all this frolicking foreplay or in the the art of seduction all of that cannot he can't date so all of that he is jada he cannot perform so many things still tava apanga loke patitam if he has come into the unwittingly even unwittingly if he has come in the kataksha in the domain of your kataksha apanga aloke patitam he has fallen then Anudhavanti Shatashah Galadveni Bandhaha Yuvatayah. Etam Manushyam. So behind this man who may have been holding a stick, who is all wrinkled up and he can't even properly smile, saliva is oozing down his mouth. He can't see properly. He is very ugly to look at. Such a person, Devi's side eye glance is enough. Let's say she just looks at him. So he has come in her purview. Then what happens? This Nara becomes so attractive. He becomes very lively, very attractive that Yuvatayah Shatashah Kanyaha Yuvatayah Shatashah hundreds and hundreds of women of ladies, eligible ladies Vigalita dukulaha. They will themselves unwittingly remove their dukula, their dupatta, their covering, the upper covering. Trutyat kanchyaha. And they will not actually unlock their girdles. Kanchya is the thing that they wear around their waist to hold the sari in place, or sari or whatever, some salwar kameez, whatever. It's like a ladi. We say in Kannada ladi, a thread which comes along with the clothing. That is kanchyaha. Trutyati. It will itself get open up. It will get shattered and it will open up, thus loosening their lower garments also. Kucha kalasha visrasta sichayaha. Sichaya is again like cotton or something. Kucha is their breasts. Kalasha, those who have kalasha like breasts. Visrasta sichayaha. So their buttons, the cotton covering of their breasts means something like a bra. Visrasta, it will open up. Hathat, even without their own knowing. And Garad Veni Bandhaha, their matted locks of hair, the plaited hair, it will get loosened. If you have seen all these Bollywood movies, how they and at the beach they remove their hairpin and they shake their head around. So something like that. So Galadveni Bandhaha Kucha Kalasha Visrasta Sichayaha Hathat Trutyat Kanchyaha Vigalita Dukulaha Yuvatayaha Anudhavanti. They all in hundreds will start running behind this guy. This is really a very erotic description of how powerful this person will become in terms of charm and sex appeal, that hundreds of young maiden women are ever ready to, just fall upon him and, you know, kind of get a taste of him. This is the power of Kama, which just a glance of Devi can endow. नरं वर्षीयां नयनविरसं नर्मसुजडं तवापाङ्गालोके पतितमनुधावन्ति शतशः गलद्वेणीबन्धाः कुचकलशविस्रस्तसिचयाः हठात् त्रुट्यत्काञ्च्यो विगलितदुकूला युवतयः. The word hathat here is very worth noting. Just as a person who is in really famished hunger, right? He has almost lost consciousness of the body. He doesn't even know what the body is doing. It will be on autopilot mode. So whenever I see a food, if I'm really famished, I don't even know what I will be doing. I may somehow like a zombie get up and just go and gobble up that food if I'm that hungry. Similarly, the hunger for this person is so high that hathat, without their own knowledge, all they start, undoing their dresses and mm, as though it happened by some other force, they're unhooking themselves, they are removing their hair bands, and they are lowering their upper and lower garments, and they are running behind this guy who has now been turned into a model. You can take your best favorite Bollywood stars as comparison to see, let's say Tiger Shroff or whoever that is, Salman Khan or maybe Hrithik Roshan. Uh,
There are no comparison to this man.
okay.
So actually, I feel like the fact that he got uh, the side eye from the mother, that itself means that he has been doing a lot of tapasya. More probably for more probably for mukti.
Satya.
Instead, he is being chased by hundreds of women.
Satyam.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, that can also be one of the interpretation, the right interpretation, because he must have become Varshiyamsam by tapasya. By tapasya, his body must have decayed, and yeah, it's quite possible. Such an interpretation.
uh, our munis, for example, uh, Vishwamitra, that's how he got Menaka, right?
Menaka, Satyam. Samyak. And it is quite interesting to note that how Adi Shankaracharya can go from, in the just previous verse, he was talking of Kundalini, and the immediate verse, now he is playing with words, he's playing with how something really so material. I mean, there is, and so erotic, so openly erotic. I mean, I don't think in those days they were really too taboo. These subjects were not very taboo-fied in those days. So he is really openly telling that, and that too in a stotram. So yeah, we have a lot to learn from him being quite progressive in that sense.
The point is to not fall into the trap. We have to recognize that the stotram is about mother's grace.
Yes.
Forget that.
Um, Astu. Now again, see, now he is like a bipolar. He is going back to Kundalini description once again. Kshitau षट् पञ्चाशद्विसमधिक पञ्चाशदुदके हुताशे द्वाषष्टिश्चतुरधिक पञ्चाशदनिले दिवि द्विषट्त्रिंशन्मनसि च चतुष्षष्टिरिति ये मयूखास्तेषामप्युपरि तव पादाम्बुजयुगम् यथा ह्यः पश्यामः Kshito means Prithvi. Prithvyam षट् पञ्चाशत् द्विसमधिक पञ्चाशत् उदके 50 plus 2 द्विसमधिक पञ्चाशत् 52 in udaka in jala in prithvi 56 हुताशे in agni द्वाषष्टिः 62 द्वाषष्टिः चतुरधिक पञ्चाशत् अनिले अनिला is वायु अनिले 54 दिवि द्विषट्त्रिंशन् दिवि is आकाश आकाशे द्विः षट्त्रिंशत् 2 times 36 that is 72 षट्त्रिंशत् द्विः means twice मनसि च चतुष्षष्टिरिति ये 64 ये what are these are mayukhaha these are rays mayukhaha emerging at these particular places tesham api upari above all of these 6 chakras I should have actually drawn it bottom up but above that above the ajna chakra is tava padam bhujayugam like I've been saying the sahasrara is a symbol for the pada ambuja yugam the 2 feet of the mother they are placed on the sahasrara or they are equivalent to the sahasrara which is placed above these 6 chakras. Now what these are telling are the rays and what these rays mean mayukha means literally rays. These are representation of nadi. One can do a quick math. Let's just try it. I don't know if we may get any magical number. We can just add up all these numbers and see what we get. 56 plus 52 plus 62 plus 54 plus 72 plus 64. 360. Wow. I didn't know it would have come. I'm really promising. I have never done this math before. So it is 360. 360 is the magic number we get upon adding up all these things. And of course, they mean mayukha, which are nadis emerging at those respective tattvas. And of course, Prithvi is Mooladhara, Jala is Swadhisthana, Agni is Manipura, Anila is Anahata, Divi is Vishuddhi, Manaha is Ajna. And at these points, so many nadis emerge out. Tesham api upari, above all of these, tesham api sarvasam api padmanam upari, tava pada ambuja yugam asti, tava pada padmam, etasam षण्णाम padmanam upari vartate iti. So one thing is when you keep your feet above someone else, it shows their complete it marks complete mastery and control over the other person, domination over the other person. That is why we say we must not touch another person with our feet because they are also equal to us in the sense that we are all brothers and sisters of the same mother. So only she can show her domination, her mastery, because she is Ishwari over all the Mula Prakriti as well as the uh, Antahkarana Chatushtaya, Mano Buddhya Hankara Chittam. So, what deeper meaning? I'm not able to, one must actually go through deeper into the Tantras to understand what these nadis signify. अट्लीस्ट् स्थूलशः अहम् एतम् एकं वीडियो कृतवान् आसम् यच्च वाट्साप् गणे प्रेषितवान् अस्मि. What can we understand grossly about what these chakras mean? I have already made a video. It is the L18. So go to the Lalita Sahasranama playlist and scroll down to the 18th video and you will be able to find it. Astu. इतः पर्यन्तं कोऽपि प्रश्नो अस्ति कश्चन अभिप्रायः अस्ति चेत् कृपया वाच्यता.
अहं बहु किञ्चित् अत्र नूतनं ज्ञानं प्राप्नोमि एतद् विषये मम किमपि ज्ञानं नासीत्. धन्यवादाः।
धन्यवादः। अस्तु, सकृत् एतं श्लोकं गायतु वर्य। We can do that.
तद्वा
चितौ।
क्षितौ षट् षट्पञ्चाशत् द्विसमधिकपञ्चाशदुदके हुताशे द्वाषट्
हुताशे द्वाषष्टिश्
षष्टि आशे द्वाषष्टिश्चतुरधिकपञ्चाशदनिले दिविद्व- दिविद्विष्यष्ट्यै
द्विविद्विषट्त्रिंशन्
दिविद्विष्यत्रिंशन् मनसि च चतुष्षष्टि रीतिये चतुष्षष्टिरीतिये मयूखास्तेषाम् अप्युपरि तव पादाम्बुजयुगम्।
साधु। शरज्योत्स्ना शुद्धां शशियुतजटाजूटमकुटां वरत्रासत्राणस्फटिकघटिका पुस्तककरां सकृन्नत्वा नत्वा कथमिव सतां सन्निदधते मधुक्षीरद्राक्षा मधुरिमधुरीणाः फणितयः। एषोऽपि श्लोकः अति प्रसिद्धः अस्ति। शारदास्तुतिः इति कथ्यते एतस्य। शारदास्तुतिः एषः। शरत् ज्योत्स्ना शुद्धाम्। Okay, let me pull up an image. शारदा माता, शारदा देवी, goddess.
शृङ्गेर्या
शृङ्गगिर्या, शृङ्गगिरौ। शरज्योत्स्ना शुद्धां, शरत् ज्योत्स्ना, शरत् ऋतोः ज्योत्स्ना, ज्योत्स्ना इति इन्दुः, चन्द्रबिम्बः, चन्द्रमयूखः इति अर्थः। शरत् कालस्य चन्द्रस्य याः मयूखाः स्रवन्ति ताः शरत् ज्योत्स्ना इति। सो शरत् ज्योत्स्ना शुद्धां, she is as pure as the Satvika rays, the cooling rays of the moon coming at autumn. That's why the name Sharada. Sharad Jyotsna Shuddham. Shashi Yuta Jata Juta Makutam. She has a Shashi. She has a moon on her head. Shashi Yuta Jata Juta Makutam. In fact, this particular picture doesn't capture that description, but let me see. She actually has a Jata Juta also, which is covered by her Kirita. Okay, this may have, if you see this black lining, it actually is the Jata Juta that she actually has as a symbol of a yogini of tapasya. She actually has a Jata Juta Makutam. Varatrasa Trana. Varatrasa Trana. Vara is giving Vara. Trasa Trana. Trasa is Bhaya. भयात् त्रायते किम अभयम, अभय मुद्रा। त्रासत्राण, वरत्रासत्राण, स्फटिक घटिका पुस्तक कराम। शी हैज अ घटिका, शी हैज अ माला ऑफ स्फटिका। Oh, yes, yes. Sphatika Ghatika. Pustaka Karam. She holds a book in her other hand. Pustaka Karam. Sakran Natva Natva Kathamiva Satam Sannidadhate. सकृत् अर्थात एकवारं त्वां नत्वा, सकृन् नत्वा, न नत्वा, if I don't bow even once before you, सकृन् न त्वां नत्वा इति अर्थः. So if you see this play on word, न सकृत् त्वां नत्वा इति अर्थः. त्वा in संस्कृतं can mean त्वां. एकवारमपि त्वां न नमामि चेत् कथमिव सताम सन्निदधते. How will the Sata, how will the Sajjanas ever come to your close proximity? And then Madhukshira Draksha Madhurima Dhurinaha Phanitayaha. Then how will they be able to output Phanitayaha or Phanitayaha, which means Vakyani. Kidrishani Vakyani Madhu Kshira Draksha Madhurima Dhurinaha. Dhurina means being burdened by the sweetness, madhurima, of what? Of these three ingredients. Putting madhu, putting honey, putting kshira, milk, and draksha together. So, in many panchamritas, you would have had this combination of kshira, draksha, and madhu, which is really, really nice tasting. So, very sweet. Madhu, kshira, draksha. And by mixing these three, it somehow becomes more sweeter than the sum total of the three sweetnesses. Madhurima, Dhurinaha. So those Vakyas have the sweetness, have been burdened somehow by the sweetness of Madhu, Kshira, and Draksha. As though it has been burdened by the sweetness, their words are appearing and it is able to come out of Sajjana. Sata means of Munis or of Yoginis or such Satya Purushas. How will that be possible without Na Tvam Natva? Katham Iva. How will it even be possible that such Bhaniti, such Vakyas can ever come out which hold the burden of sweetness behind them if they have never even once bowed before you? That is the literal meaning. Sharat Jyotsna Shuddham Tvam Shashiyuta Jata Makutam Tvam Varatrasatrana Sphatika Ghatika Pustaka Karam Tvam Ekavaramaphi na namante chet tarhi ete sajjananam mukhat katham madhura vachanani nisravanti. So it's a double negation. Which means one must bow at least once before you, O Mother Goddess, who comes as Sharada, and even one prostration before you will help one have such mastery over the language and their words that it becomes really very sweet to hear. Maybe in today's time and analogy, we can say it is as sweet as, let's say, jaggery, or as sweet as, dairy milk chocolate or something like that. In those days, they would use these comparisons of madhu, kshira, and draksha. Sakran, uh,
They hold and compare and taste whatever the new
they
one.
hold. Okay, the new, they're very sweet. Let me find if there's a more true description of that. This is, I mean, here Ankusha and Pasha there, which is not as is described. Yeah, the closest image is this. But the Kalasha and the parrot, of course, again, have not been described here. Mm, this is quite close. This is quite close. Huh?
There are different descriptions. Depending on which description we go by, it's different. But why is he holding a parrot? Is there any reason for that?
The parrot, Kim Dyotayati, the parrot denotes the ability to parrot, literally parrot, and memorize and repeat it back, which is why, which is how Vedas used to be learned, by just understanding, I mean, first by hearting it and then repeating it back. So that is the literal significance of a parrot. And the Kamala, of course, the white Kamala is of purity. This is quite close. Sharad Jyotsna Shuddham Shashi Yuta Jata Juta Makutam, but no Jata here. No Shashi also, but anyway. Uh, Varastrasa Trana Sphatika Ghatika Pustaka Karam. सकृन्नत्वा नत्वा कथमिव सतां सन्निदधते मधुक्षीरद्राक्ष मधुरिमधुरेण फणितयः. In fact, some other descriptions, like you have rightly mentioned, actually describe her only with two arms. Later on, the four-armed, the image came to be. So she's just holding in the same hand Abhaya Mudra as well as the Sphatika, and in the other mudra, she is holding the book as well as the Varada Mudra. In fact, the Brahmacharini Devi would maybe look closer to her. Let's just see. Brahmacharini. Ah, you see? Because she is anyhow Brahmi, that is the wife of Brahma, this description fits a little closer. Yeah.
केवलं कमण्डलु एवं च स्फटिकमाला.
Spatikamala. And she's actually a yogini. That's why the Jata Juta. So she should be rightly depicted as one here. She doesn't actually wear a kirita. She is sattvic all in all. Her sari is white, her face is white, Sharad Jyotsna Shuddha, and she has a jata, Juta Makuta. Yes, a pure, complete symbol of penance, of austerity, and sattva rasa. अस्तु सकृत् भवान् सकृत् एतं श्लोकं वदतु.
रत्योत्स्ना शुभ्रां जटाजूटमकुटां वरत्रा सत्राणस्फटिकफणि स्फटिक
घटिका पुस्तककराम्
घटिका पुस्तककरां घटिका पुस्तककरां सकृन्नत्वा सकृन्नत्वा नत्वा कथमपि कथमिव सतां सन्निधत्ते मधुक्षीरद्राक्षा मधुरीणाः भणितयः.
शरज्योत्स्ना शुद्धां शशियुतजटाजूटमकुटां वरत्रासत्राणस्फटिकघटिका पुस्तककरां सकृन्नत्वा नत्वा कथमिव सतां सन्निदधते मधुक्षीरद्राक्षा मधुरिमधुरीणा भणितयः अथवा फणितयः.
तत्र पाठभेदः इति वर्फणितयः इति.
No, it should have been actually va. Va means it is used to denote pathantaram, va iti. But it's a typo.
किं फणितयः?
Bhanitayah is nothing but phanitayah. In fact, I would actually say phanitayah would fit the context more because of the visarga. If the visarga must be preserved, then it should be followed by pha. If it is followed by bha, actually the visarga should have disappeared because of the low pasandi, correct?
फणितयः इत्युक्ते किम् इति प्रश्नः.
Panitihi ityukte vachanam. Phanati means to talk. Phaniti is like bhaniti. I think in Marathi you say mhana or something, right? What is that? Manhu. You say manhu means to talk, to tell, which comes from the word bhanu. Bhana means to speak, which is also coming from the same or a similar root, which is phan, which means to speak. So something which is said like vachanam is what phaniti is.
फणि इत्युक्ते स्नेक्स् फुट् रैट्.
आम् फण
तत्रापि आगच्छति इति वा? तत्र फणि इत्युक्ते शिरः इति, फणति फणिति इति.
साधु प्रश्न. Let's check. अष्टाध्यायी. फणति कदाचित समानः धातुश्चेदपि अर्थाभेदाः भवन्ति। हम्म, अत्र अस्ति फण पश्यतु द्वौ धातु स्तः फण what is that? फण न एकः एव टू गो टू टेक अवे टू चार्म जाना तेजोहीन करना is one of the meanings, whereas bhana, so perhaps गति दीप्त्योः इति तस्य अर्थः फण इत्यस्य फणति शब्दस्य let's look at bhana bhana bhanati bhana शब्दे to make a noise to make a sound शब्द करना भणति
अत्र मधुक्षीरद्राक्षा मधुमधुरीणाः भणतयः इत्युक्ते गानमित्यपि वक्तुं
सत्यम
शक्यते।
गीति ही सत्यम 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 भणिति ही इज गीति करेक्ट सत्यम मधुरी मधुर गीतानि अपि निस्रवन्ति सज्जनानां मुखादिति कवीनां सज्जनानां मुखादिति साधु अवश्यं सः अर्थः स्वीकुर्यात् कवीन्द्राणां चेतः कमलवनबालातपरुचिं भजन्ते ये सन्तः कतिचिदरुणामेव भवतीं विरिञ्चि प्रेयस्यास्तरुणतरशृङ्गारलहरी गभीराभिर्वाग्भिर्विदधति सतां रञ्जनममी एष श्लोकः कवीन्द्राणां चेतः कमलवनबालातपरुचिं ये सन्तः भजन्ते कतिचित् भवतीम् अरुणाम् एव भजन्ते ये ते विरिञ्चि प्रेयस्याः तरुणतरशृङ्गारलहरी गभीराभिः वाग्भिः सतां रञ्जनम् अमी विदधति So slightly um, circumlocuous way of saying things. That's how many poetries are. But what it is telling is, ye santah, those good people, ye bhaktaha, ye sajjanaha, katichideva sajjanaha, those very few people who choose to actually worship you, bhajante, kam bhajante, bhavatim, you, nimmannu, kannadalli with respect, bhavatim, arunam bhajante, you who are in the form of Aruna. Aruna is Lalita Tripura Sundari eva. The very first dhyana shloka is Arunam Karuna Tarangitakshim. So she, as in the form of Lalita, when they do worship of her, and who is also Kavindranam Chetah Kamala Vana Bala Tapa Ruchim. She who is like the Ruchi means is a word used for comparison. Ruchi means Iva, whose beauty is like the Bala Tapa, like the rising sun, the young sun, which has just risen from the perspective of a person, let's say a honeybee, which is stuck in a vana, like a dense forest of Kamala. So if it is gazing at the sun, the rising sun, the yellowish, orangish, reddish hue of the rising sun through from the vana of flower of lotuses.
महोदय
Hmm.
अत्र अरुणा इत्युक्ते अपि बालार्कवर्णा इति
Satyam, exactly. So that is another pun that Aruna is the name given for orange color, orangish red. So Balarka Varna eva Satyam. That's why the name Bala Tapa. Atapa is Surya. Bala Tapa is the young kid Surya, who is the rising Surya, who is shining his grace of rays on the lotus vana. And what is this lotus? It is Chetah Kamalam. These are the minds of Kavindras, which means these are the Kavindras like Brahma and Indra and all these other great poets who are being lit, whose Kamala is blossoming because it is seeing the rising sun. So the poetic narrative here is that it is believed that the lotuses will bloom only after seeing the sun. Only by the charm of the sun they actually bloom. They wish to open themselves up. And at night they will shrivel themselves back into the bud form. That is the belief. So just as only after looking at you, the chetas, the minds of these kavindras will start glowing and opening up and becoming really sharp, and they start making all their usual poetic comparisons. Similarly, those very few who have the capability of doing bhajan of you, what will they get? Satam Ranjanam Ami Vidadhati. Ami means ete janaha. Satam Ranjanam Vidadhati. They are able to entertain and capture the minds of even great people. Vidadhati. They are able to entertain great people. Like, for example, Kalidasa's kritis are even today read by all the sannyasis, at least of the Sringeri Parampara. It has become so important that somehow they are looking up to him, like at the levels of Valmiki and Vyasa too. So, what is the power of such poets is because of you means Devi being Virinchi Preyasyaha, because you are the Preyasi, you are the GF, the girlfriend of Brahma, you are the wife, the spouse of Brahma, who was the OG Kavindra. Taruna Tara Shringara Lahari Gabhirabhihi. So your grace has made their Vagbhihi, they're just words, their compositions, their songs, their literature itself is how Tarunatara Shringara Lahari Gabhirabhihi. So it is Gabhira, it is very dense, it's very profound. How, like the deep waves, the waves which emerge from where? Tarunatara Shringara, the waves of Shringara which comes from a Taruna, a young man. Okay, this is quite complicated. Imagine a person who is in love with another lady, right? This is the classic romantic poet. He becomes, even if he doesn't know much of literature or anything, even if he has just qualified only ninth or 10th standard, still he will draw all the hearts with the piercing arrow in between and compose love letters and so on, right? He becomes a poet for that very brief period. So that is a Taruna. Taruna Tara, just as a Taruna is, who is drenched in the rasa of Shringara, of love, of romance, and the waves of love which emerge from him, which bring his own self to greater profoundness. That is the Tarunatara Shringara Lahari Gabhira. So, such words which seemingly are very profound, as well as are like waves of romance exuding from this lover's heart, such words will even cause the greatest of minds to get encaptured by the beauty of such words. That is the meaning. And so, which means these people who do bhajana of such Lalita will be imbued with such great faculty and power to be able to make such beautiful compositions. Let's just read it once again to connect all these dots back together. Kavindranam chetah kamalavana balat aparuchim अरुणाम भवतीम एव ये संतः कतिचित ये कतिचित संतः त्वाम भजन्ते ते अमी सताम रंजनम विदधति. They are able to capture the minds of their listeners, of even great santas and sannyasis. How? Because of their words. Vagbhihi. Kidrishabhihi vagbhihi. What kind of words are these? These are not just some utterances. These are Tarunatara Shringara Lahari Gabhirabhihi. And by whose grace did this come? Virinchi Preyasyaha. So Sharada, who is the spouse of Virinchi of Brahmi, itself gave her anugraha, complete anugraha upon this person of such people to be able to create Vagbhi, which can charm, encapsulate, and encapture the minds of the sannyasis too. कवीन्द्राणां चेतः कमलवनबालातपरुचिं भजन्ते ये सन्तः कतिचिदरुणामेव भवतीं विरिञ्चि प्रेयस्यास्तरुणतरशृङ्गारलहरी गभीराभिर्वाग्भिर्विदधति सतां रञ्जनममी अवगतं किं पुनः वदेयं वा कोऽपि प्रश्नोऽस्ति
अवगतम् परन्तु there seems to be the thread that is connecting the first pada and second pada. Trying to see what it is, that slightly obscure.
So the idea of him using the word Kavindra there is that they will also become blessed to be Kavindras who are able to get your anugraha. Just as in the previous shloka it was told. Where is that shloka? Here. Twadiyam Soundaryam Tuhina Girikanye Tulayitum Kavindrah Kalpante Kathamapi Virinchi Prabhritaya. So Virinchi Prabhritaya is the intended adhyahara for Kavindra. The greatest, excellent of poets like Brahma and the other gods have your anugraha. Okay? Yeah, you were saying something, Varya?
What if so that Kavindra directly means Brahma?
But then Bahuvachana Prayoga is there, no? Kavindrana. So you can say Brahma and the others. Brahma and other gods of creation. There'll be some demigods like Prajapati and then all the Dakshas and all that. So there would be other forces of creation who are said to be the original poets because they are imagining this actual material world. They were blessed by Aruna or Lalita at the very beginning, just as they were given the strength, just as the blooming of Kamalas happen only by the Bala Taparuchi, by the rising sun. So they also their mental faculties also started functioning well only because of you, O mother. Therefore, these santas understanding this will start doing bhajana of you, and as a result of which, what is the phala they get? They are able to capture the minds of even viragis. How? It is through this. Virinchi preyasya tarunatara shringara lahari gabhirabhi vagbhihi. And moreover, I think one of the use cases of the first line is to create that right pun, like you said, of Aruna, which can mean both Lalita as well as the actual Aruna form of the dawn.
इत्युक्ते ललिता एव परन्तु तस्याः वर्णं बालात्मम् इति मम चिन्ता अस्ति
Tadeva. Aruna, no, Aruna, the word Aruna, why is she called Aruna is because she is Balarka Varna, that is correct. But why is that comparison being made here? Because just as the Balarka will cause the blooming of the lotuses in the Kamalavana, similarly, her grace, Aruna's grace, caused the Kavindras to function well and create the universe. Understanding this, they who do bhajana of yours, then they'll get this phala.
अवगतं धन्यवादः
अस्तु सकृत् उच्चार्यत
प्रयत्नं करोमि सकृन् एतत् खलु कवीन्द्राणां चेतः कमलवनबालातपरुचिम् भजन्ते ये सन्तः कतिचिदरुणामेव भवति विरिञ्चि प्रेयस्यास्तरुण तरुणतरशं शरू
शृङ्गार तत्र टैपो अस्ति
तरुणस्तरशृङ्गारलहरी गभीरा गभीराभिर्वा गभीरा गभीरार्
गभीराभिर्
गभीराभिर्वाग्भिर् विदधति विधगति सतां रञ्जनममी
विरिञ्चि प्रेयस्यास् तरुणतर शृङ्गारलहरी
चित्प्रेयस्यास्तरुणतर शृङ्गारलहरी
गभीराभिर्वाग्भिर्विदधति सतां रञ्जनममी
वीराभिर्वाग्भिर्विदधति सतां रञ्जनममी
कवीन्द्राणां चेतः कमलवनबालातपरुचिम् भजन्ते ये सन्तः कतिचिदरुणामेव भवति विरिञ्चि प्रेयस्यास्तरुणतरशृङ्गारलहरी गभीराभिर्वाग्भिर्विदधति सतां रञ्जनममी सवित्रीभिर्वाचां शशिमणिशिलाभङ्गरुचिभिः वशिन्याद्याभिस्त्वां सह जननि सञ्चिन्तयति यः सकर्ता काव्यानां भवति महतां भङ्गिरुचिभिः वचोभिर्वाग्देवी वदनकमलामोदमधुरैः पुनरपि एष श्लोकोऽपि देव्याः प्रसादेन आगतायाः वाक्चातुर्यतायाः चातुर्यस्य एव वर्णनं पुनः सवित्रीभिः वाचां सवित्रीभिः शशिमणिशिलाभङ्गरुचिभिः वशिन्याद्याभिः त्वां सह वशिन्याद्याभिः सह त्वां यः सञ्चिन्तयति सः काव्यानां कर्ता भवति कथं भवति काव्यानां कर्ता महतां काव्यानां कर्ता भवति he will be able to make very big kavyas mahakavyas bhangi ruchibhihi which is embedded with a lot of bhangi means a gesture so just in dance bhangi means a particular posture or a gesture bhangi ruchibhihi with a lot of ruchi means rasas and bhangas vachobhihi such with words which are Vagdevi Vadana Kamala Amoda Madhuraihi which can bring Amoda which can bring happiness which are very sweet which can bring happiness to the Vadana Kamala to the face the holy blessed face of even Vagdevi which means which can even such mahakavyas can be composed by such people such devotees of yours which will make even Vagdevi approve by showing her happiness and smile on her face by looking at the sweetness of such expressions which are embedded with all Natya Rasa and Natya Sutrani which are in line with all the Natya Sutras and Natya aspects. And who is this Saha? Yaha Tvam हे जननी त्वाम यह चिंतयति संचिंतयति यह त्वाम ध्यायति he or she who can meditate upon you, as who, in what particular form? Vacham Savitribhihi, one who thinks of you in the form as of you being the Savitri, the Janani, the creator of all words. Savitribhihi Vacham. Shashi Mani. Shashi Mani is the moonstone. Let's just see how it looks. Moonstone, of course, it'd be white. Moonstone. Shashi Mani is this. Shashi Mani Shila Bhanga Ruchibhihi. If you let's see a cut moonstone. Let's see if you were to cut this moonstone, how if there's any image which looks like that. Okay, it's not there, but okay, if the moonstone, such a moonstone were to be cut and that unexposed part, the inner layer of the moonstone were to be exposed, how it would shine. That is called Ruchi, the glow, the splendor of such a moonstone, Shila, which has been bhanga, which has been cut, which has been shattered. Shashi Mani Shila Bhanga Ruchibhihi Vashinyadhyabhihi Saha. So you are also surrounded by the Vashinyadi Devatas. So Vashini it comes in the Khadgamala, an entire list of all such Devatas. Vashini Devi. Vashini, Kameshwari, Mohini, Chakrini, all of ah, they are the Shodasha Kalas. These are called the Nitya Shodashika Rupa Shri Kantardha Sharirini. It comes in the Lalita Sahasranama too. That these are the 16 ladies who are surrounding the foremost servants of Lalita Tripura Sundari. Her first circle of servants are the Nitya Devis, also called as the Vashini Devis. Vashinyadhyabhihi Tvam Vashinyadhyabhihi Saha Tvam Yaha Chintayati. He or she who meditates upon you in the form of you being Lalita, who is the creator of all words, um, and these surrounded by the Vashini Devatas, and what words these are shining. I mean, these Devatas, actually, this is a Visheshana to Vashinyadhyabhi. So please correct me. Shashimani Shila Bhanga Ruchibhihi Vashinyadhyabhi. These devatas themselves are shining like the cut part of the moonstone, which means they are very splendorous white. They are reflecting your tejas, which is also white in color. So just as a moonstone would reflect the moonlight at night.
If we go back to the moonstone,
Mm.
they are shining in different colored lights.
Oh, moons.
I think each of them have different light. That's what he is referring to.
Oh, okay. This one? Colorless blue.
This one, it has blue color, it has all rainbow colors that are coming out of it.
Hmm. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, perhaps correct. Shashimani Shila Bhanga Ruchi. So they must be reflecting all different colors of light from yours. Okay, correct. Could be that. Savitri bhi Vacham. So it could refer to the Vag Devatas also. Vag Devatas who composed the Lalita Sahasranama themselves are the Vashinyadi Devatas. Yeah, you're right. So these two words are Visheshanas to the Vashini. Savitri bhi Vacham, those who were the creator of all the words, which is the Vashinyadi Devatas, those who are reflecting your light, like the moonstones reflecting the same light but in different colors. Thank you for that interpretation. Yashimani Shila Bhanga Ruchibhihi Vashinyadhyabhihi Saha Tvam, you who are with them, Saha Yaha Chintayati, then he will be able to create master poetry, such magnum opus works filled with all the Natya elements, which will even enamor and appeal to the Vagdevi, that is Sharada herself. We should make her face, her mukha kamala, have an amoda, an expression of joy on her face because of the madhurata, because of the madhurya of such words. सवित्रीभिर्वाचां शशिमणिशिलाभङ्गरुचिभिः वशिन्याद्याभिस्त्वां सह जननि सञ्चिन्तयति यः सकर्ता काव्यानां भवति महतां भङ्गिरुचिभिः वचोभिर्वाग्देवी वदनकमलामोदमधुरैः. Yeah, it makes a little more sense.
मम एकं प्रश्नमस्ति.
पृच्छतु.
अत्र सवित्रीभिर् वचसाम् इति उक्तं. सवित्री इत्युक्ते अहं तु सवित्रः इत्युक्ते सूर्यः. किं सवित्री भवान् उक्तवान्. सवित्री इत्युक्ते the creator of the world, परंतु कथं लक्ष्यते तदर्थमिति.
So let's look at the dhatu. Su is the dhatu. Su. Suyate, to create. See, prani prasave, to procreate, to give birth, to conceive. Suyate iti. Tasmat dhatoho savanam ityukte, it's to give birth. And savitra is, you're right, the word savitra comes from the same word, from same dhatu. Savitra is yaha suyate saha savita. And that is Surya, because he creates the world. Because in his form of Hiranyagarbha, it is told he is equivalent to the creator. And so that is Savitra. And the Strilinga form is Savitri, means creator in the female form. Savitri, Kasya Savitri, Vacham Savitri. They who are the mothers of words itself. Savitri Bhir Vacham. Let's see if we can find the image of Vagdevatas.
अपि सवित्री
भिन्नौ. यतः Savitri comes from the wife of Savitra. So that is a different Stri Pratyaya. So there a Stri Pratyaya has been applied to denote the wife of Savitra, who is Savitri. Yatha, there is a difference between Acharyani and Acharya. So there is a male form which is Acharya. The wife of an Acharya who may or may not teach is called Acharyani. Whereas an actual female teacher would be called Acharya. So there are two different pratyas, though they may sound similar, two different pratyas for the Stri, for the Stri Rupam. Vagdevatas of Lalita. Okay, I don't think we'll even get such a detailed picture. Maybe no, this is not Vagdevata. भवान् खड्गमाला स्तुतौ एतद् वशिनी कामेश्वरी अस्ति खलु, तत् कृपया एकवारं वदतु.
एकक्षणम् उद्घाटय. वशिनी जय जय कामेश्वरी जय जय इत्यादि
वशिनी देवी.
अत्र वशिनी कामेश्वरी मोदिनी विमला अरुणा जयिनी सर्वेश्वरी कौलिनी. I think that's it.
कति स्त्रियः सन्ति? अष्ट. खड्गमाला. तत्र वाग्देवतानाम् उल्लेखो अस्ति वा? वाग्देवतानाम्
अस्ति. वाग्देवता नास्ति. वाग्देवता इत्युक्ते सामान्यतया सरस्वती इति खलु.
आम्. न, किन्तु वाग्देवताः are the ones who gave the Lalita Sahasranama. So in the okay, let's find it in पूर्वपीठिका अपि अस्ति. भवान् खड्गमालायां
एवं अस्ति. वशिनी जय जय कामेश्वरी जय जय मोदिनी जय जय विमले जय जय अरुणे जय जय जयिनी जय जय सर्वेश्वरी जय जय कौलिनी जय जय
Mm.
Those are, and then Sarvarogahara Chakra Swami iti agutati. In chapter 8.
Astu, astu. Let me just share it on the group if I find the description of the Vag Devatas. But Hayagriva actually in the Lalita Sahasranama, he in the Purva Pithika mentions that he got the actual stotram, which was first created by the Vag Devataha, which are actually the different servants of Lalita. One of the, so there are many avaranas. I think there are some avarana to the Khadgamala, right? Is it Nava or Shodasha? There are many levels of devatas which are described. Some maybe some 9 or 16 are there. So in one of that rungs of hierarchy of her servants come the Vagdevatas. Here which is described as the Vashinyadi Devataha. Savitri Bhirvacham Shashimani Shilabhanga Ruchibhihi Vashinyadhyabhihi. Yes, now actually I was wondering how this particular adjective would make sense. It's that she would, yeah, they would be reflecting her grace like cut stones of moonstone reflecting the same moonlight in different colors. Yeah, really nice interpretation for that. अस्तु अत्र स्थगयामः श्वः पुनश्च कक्ष्याम् अनुवर्तयामः अस्तु अनेके धन्यवादाः नमो नमः
Namaskara.
Yeah.